the Sharks did not get a win this past week. Unfortunate. I was the closest to getting a game right. They lose against Montreal 4-3 on Tuesday. Sam and Tyler had that as the win of the week. I had the Thursday game against Vancouver. They end up losing 2-1 in overtime. And then they get the big L on Saturday against Dallas, 8-3. So they are currently dead last everywhere.
Well,
Let's see.
Montreal, they lost on this weird, like,
Mhm.
penalty, and then they
Yeah.
scored and it was over, but it was like a weird.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think
Um,
Celebrini actually committed the penalty too, so I know he came out and was, full accountability like
yeah.
the veteran
Like
superstar
like
that he already is.
yeah, at
He
18,
took
the guy who's gonna be wearing a letter on his chest next year and possibly the C, if not next year, like in 3 years after that,
for
you know?
sure.
Um, yeah. So yeah, I'm obviously we're excited for the future that Celebrini has, and even when he makes a mistake, when he takes ownership like that, you're like, this is what we want, this is what we need. Uh, I'm ready to go to war with this guy, and hopefully we have a couple other guys like that in the system as well. The Sharks do have the number one rated system right now too, and it's only going to get better with this season because right now the Blackhawks are 4 points clear
Yeah,
of of the Sharks. So if the Sharks win 2 games, they tie the Blackhawks, assuming that they don't get a win in or an overtime loss on there. And as far as the Eastern Conference goes, Sabres are in dead last. They're at 49 points. The Sharks are 37, so we don't have to worry about any Eastern teams catching us. Right now, it's the Sharks, Blackhawks, Predators, and then you go to the East for the Sabres as far as like the race for the number one, for the highest percentage chance to get the number one overall seed. Um,
yeah,
so so if you get that again this year, like now the tank it's tank time, and I'm looking forward to going to at least one more game this year, and I'm not going to expect a win. I'm going to when I do go, I'll make it my win of the week, but I'm not going to expect it.
for sure.
But it's this is the we keep telling everybody if you're going to jump on the bandwagon, you jump on now, so that way you get to reap all the benefits of saying I was there when they were sucking, right? And then when they turn it around, because this thing is going to turn around, all the pieces are in place for it to happen, and now it's just kind of on the players. And the turnaround starts next year, I believe. This year it was about
And
bottoming out,
we
right?
talked about
Last
it a
yeah,
little bit last week. They made the trade that sent, Granlund to the Dallas Stars, and you get a first round draft pick back. So
yeah,
you have 2 first round draft picks next year. You might have the number 1 draft pick overall, and then you might have, like, a back end first round draft pick, depending on where the Dallas Stars finish their season, and they're a good team. They might make a run, they might exit the playoffs, early,
yeah.
but you got a second draft first round draft pick. That's
hmm And then
you're gonna be able to
yeah.
use that to
Mhm.
trade for a player if you really wanted to, or you know take the players and continue to build out the farm.
Absolutely.
The farm system. So I love where they're at from a structural organizational standpoint.
Yeah.
I think next year you'll start seeing some of these losses that are like we just mentioned, the ones that were like they lost on a penalty. I think you'll start seeing some stuff get cleaned up, experience, they'll get better. I think next year you'll see something that's closer to a 500 team, and
That's
then
exactly where I was gonna say, yeah.
it's that next season where
Mhm.
all of these guys are kind of stepping into stardom all at once, and
Right.
Eklund is not getting the love that he deserves, but this year specifically, I feel like I've really seen that step up from Eklund.
Mhm.
Will Smith is still finding his way, but these guys are like they. I don't even think some of them could buy a beer. I think Eklund might be the veteran out of the young guys.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're still really young. They're still figuring out how to play with each other. But
Mhm.
I think they're coming together, and you see some of the players that have been traded away and how highly they speak of the organization and the team and the culture that they're building. Not
Mhm.
every player says that on any league when you leave a team that is in full rebuild mode. I mean, the Sharks tore this down to the foundation. Forget the
Yeah,
studs. They tore it to the foundation and they're
yeah, totally.
rebuilding this thing. And the players that got traded away from the Sharks this season, they have nothing but good things to say about San Jose and what they're trying to build here. That speaks volumes to me as I read this
Mhm.
stuff because how many times you see players get traded, they're like, I'm a Dallas Star now. I don't want to talk
I'm
about,
gonna yeah, I'm gonna
whatever,
focus on yeah, they're very dismissive, or
Right.
whatever, because they don't wanna say anything
They don't
bad
want to
in
say
case
nothing
they have
bad.
to they don't wanna burn a bridge if they don't have
Right.
to, you know? But they're not burning bridge right now, they're giving flowers on their way out the door.
Right.
So
And it's
that
so
that yeah, that
easy.
gives me confidence too.
It would be so easy to burn the bridge with a 15 win team. They got 37 points on the season. They're dead last. It would be so easy for any player to say, they don't know what they're doing, blah blah blah. But they've
Mhm.
been very transparent with the players that they brought in. They've been very transparent with their rookies that are coming up. So I think as you said, this garden is going to blossom. Get on now,
Mhm. That's right.
because it's happening. It's
Absolutely.
big news.
J Yeah, I mean, and just one last point, on our I'm looking at the standings right now. I see the Blues right now, at 56 games played, they're 25 wins, 26 losses, and then 5 overtime losses. I look at the Ducks, they're 24 wins, 24 losses, 6 overtime losses. They're, like, right there, 55, 54 points, right around 500, basically. Um just a hair under 500 or right around. I think that's kind of where I would expect the Sharks to be next year, is to finish somewhere around there, and they're sitting 11th and 12th in the
Yeah.
in the Western Conference, and I think the jump from 16 to 11 or 12, I think next year, I think that's a very reasonable um, expectation, especially if the players continue to develop like we've seen so far. Like if obviously there's going to be bumps in the road, especially adding in more rookies and more guys that are coming up. But these are all very talented youngsters. All these youths coming in.
Yeah,
I'm really
and
excited.
Celebrini deservedly gets all the attention, but I mean, we've talked about it a little bit before about what's going on with the Barracuda, but they're stacked, at the Barracuda level. We haven't talked about Quentin Musty, that he's making progress. I mean, they got guys at all levels right now that are pushing at one point or another that could be pushing to be on the NHL roster. So good things are happening. It's exciting. Yeah, they don't win a lot of games and there's a lot of frustrating losses, but you're going to see a lot of athleticism. You're seeing a lot of fun things happen on the ice. And even though it doesn't result in a lot of wins, it's still, you're seeing that foundation being laid that, the future is bright.
Yeah. And just for reference, right now, the Barracuda are they're a few games above 500 right now. They are uh they are 24 wins and 14 losses and 2 overtime losses and 3 shootout losses.
They doing all
So
right.
they're doing pretty good. There's a couple of teams just really like tearing it up as well, but like they're winning a lot of games down there. So if you're looking for cheap hockey and you want to see a winner, check out the AHL team. I mean, they play at Sharks Ice, the practice facility in San Jose. So it's worth your money to take a look there as well. So just throwing that out there as a little tidbit for those of you watching at home. Yeah. That being said, so the Sharks upcoming this week, no games, and that is because we have the Four Nations face off. And so what's happening here, Tim, if we're going go with the just the next image. All right. So they're gonna this will start in Montreal at the Bell Center. You're gonna have Canada versus Sweden playing on Wednesday. You have the United States playing Finland on Thursday. So then on Saturday, you're going to have all of these teams playing again. You're going to have Finland versus Sweden at 10 a.m. and then the US versus Canada at 5 p.m. And then from there, it's going to move to Boston for the final round, for the final part of the round robin, and then the championship game. You're going to have Canada versus Finland on next Monday at 10 a.m. and Sweden versus United States at 5 p.m. So that game, that final game is going to be happening while we're recording next week. And then you're going to have your championship game 3 days later on Thursday at 5 p.m. And these are all Pacific Standard Time as well. So this is going to be kind of fun to see. I'm going to check it out. And all of these games, they're going to start at either like five for the U.S. games at least. They're all 5 p.m. starts. So they play in for sure on Thursday, Saturday, and then Monday. So you have that to look forward to.